Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We are doing a max stack comparison. Two of the biggest whales in the running shoe game in the house today. We got MagMax Superblast 2. And if you are a running shoe enthusiast and if you are looking to pick up a new shoe, make sure you are on the Supwell app. So the Supwell app is my app. It's the best community for hobby joggers. We have people posting their runs in there every day, staying accountable. We have the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace. We're also going to be doing a lot more giveaways. I closed by the time I post this video, I will have closed the free daily trainer giveaway, but I'll be doing more, so stay tuned. We also have exclusive discount codes to Running Warehouse, which will take 20% off of apparel and 10% off of all sale shoes. So if you're looking for deals, again, it's a great way to bring it down. Come into the app, check it out, post a training question, ask and answer any questions related to shoes and training. It's the best place if you want to get more from your running. All right, enjoy today's video. Stack mileage. Hobby Jogger Nation, what is happening? 7:33 Monday, January 6th. This is, I said last, January 2nd was official playtime is over day. This is another day where you're going to get reminded, bro, it's not the holiday season anymore. It's time to grind. We have two titans of a non-plated stack in here this morning. I set this up all nicely, and now I can't even show you the shoe. We have the Asics Superblast 2 and Puma MagMax. And guess what? Both of these things are up at 100 miles. Now, if you watch the channel, you know this was not my favorite shoe, Superblast 2. Through the first few runs, it felt blocky, stiff, uncomfortable, firm, a bunch of other adjectives I won't read off a thesaurus right now, but it wasn't my favorite. The ride experience of it was not pleasant for me personally. Maybe it was due to the foam, maybe it was due to my foot strike, perhaps a combination of both. And about 40 miles in, though, I changed the insole. I put a softer Saucony insole. That improved it a touch. However, the headline for me with this shoe has always been the performance has been solid. It's a solid, faster daily trainer for me, regardless of how much I like or dislike the ride experience, which is something I've been talking about a lot recently. For example, Adios Pro 4 came into the office a few weeks ago. I got a 20-mile long run in yesterday, and it was way too soft for me. The heel was completely bottoming out at my slower paces. At faster paces, it was better, but still a soft feel and not a platform that I feel confident running at. This, on the other hand, is firmer, and for some reason, it doesn't feel that explosively bouncy to me like it does for other people. I don't like the feel of it. It has this crunchy, mechanical, hard to compress sensation, but the performance is solid. I always can sustain a faster than normal pace if we want to use that as a shortcut to saying the performance is good. And also, it does leave my legs feeling fresh and like I can run more in this shoe. So, have not been a fan of the feel. Performance, solid. And I did decide, people have also been wondering, why do you keep running in the shoe? I wanted to get it up to 100 miles. So I now have this at 116 miles. And our other friend over here, Puma MagMax, this is up at 140 miles, I believe. So these are two of the most popular, I was going to say best, but two of the most popular non-plated max cushion shoes. MagMax just came out this year and is going head to head. The MagMax was created entirely by Puma to go head to head with the Superblast, and this is now a hot market segment. This is $20 cheaper than the Superblast. You also get more foam here. Let's look at this. Much wider base. We can even take the calipers out and measure how wide the base is here. It is also heavier, and we'll throw these both on the scale. That is something that no brand has been able to yet compete with in terms of weight with the Superblast. That was not a grammatically correct English sentence. No brand has been able to get on the same level in terms of going above 40 millimeters a stack and keeping the weight in a shoe like this down below 260, 270 grams like we have in the Superblast. Now, this is heavier because of this insole I put in here because that provides more step-in comfort. It's denser. It's thicker than the standard insole. But that is one of the engineering feats of the Superblast. And again, something that adds to that performance aspect. It is easier to run in a lightweight shoe, typically. It also is a very firm foam here for me. Now, MagMax, my experience with this has not been the same as the Superblast, but I wasn't the biggest fan of this out of the box. Now, I didn't dislike the MagMax out of the box, but it was a confusing shoe. To me, there is so much stack. It feels so unnatural to run it. I mean, look at the back of this shoe here. Let me grab a standard training shoe so you can see. All right, this is probably the most standard training shoe out there. Saucony Ride 17. We have the 18. That'll be arriving probably this week. Take it out for some miles. But one of the most basic shoes out there in terms of a standard daily trainer. Now, look at the back foam here. Let's compare that to the front stack of the MagMax, just so you can get an idea of how much foam is really in the MagMax. It's basically as much foam as in the back of a standard training shoe. So you get tons of stack, tons of protection in here, that wide base for more support and stability. And there's been some discussions on the Supwell app about what constitutes a stability shoe. For me, when I say stability, that means you're getting some foam to cradle the foot. That means there's some elements in the shoe that are holding your foot in place to be supportive. Now, the features on a shoe like this are actually similar to features on a traditional stability shoe with how they wrap up the foam. And if you look at this foam here, it's not a firm plastic piece, but it does provide similar support as some elements that would be in a traditional stability shoe, like a post. So this is not a traditional stability shoe, but it has a super wide base and it wraps up the foam a lot to really hold that foot down in there. And then around the back, very structured heel counter. That's, again, locking that foot down so it's not going to be moving. If we take a look at the Superblast, similar wrapping effect. It doesn't have as much of that cradle, but it is still a very stable shoe. So 2 stable shoes, 2 shoes with non-plated stack. I do have to say, though, over the 140 miles that I've put in the MagMax, this has become one of my favorites, maybe even one of my all-time favorites, up there with the Skyward X this year. This is the shoe that I reach for when, if I don't know what else to run in. Recently, it's been, okay, let's do MagMax. For example, my run to hit 5,000 miles on the year, I pulled the MagMax. It is bouncy. It's not too soft, but for a bigger runner or for runners who put down more force in the platform, it's supportive but still fun, and it has more give than the Superblast 2. So this morning, I'm going to get some miles in at least the Superblast 2. I'm definitely going to get some miles in the Superblast 2. The last frontier for testing on this guy is treadmill, and it is pouring rain outside. Let's take a look at this. It's just one of those Carolina winter days. This is just not what you want to see. It's just gross, gray, wet. So we can weigh these shoes in, and then I'm going to hop in the hobby jogger wagon and head to the gym. Hopefully someone's there to let my key card in. The gym is having this malfunctioning issue where a lot of the key cards aren't working. But it's 7 on a Monday. Someone will be in there putting in the work. All right, man, let's weigh in these behemoths. You already know we brought out the scale that they weigh the whales with. We gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon'. All right, if you can see that, can you even see that? Yeah, you can see that a little bit. 322 grams in the Puma MagMax Nitro. Nitro is because this is a nitro foam, and this is the beauty of the MagMax. You have one layer. It's just one layer of this single piece of nitro foam. It's not a dual foam. There's no plate. There's no changing the densities like the Glycerin Max. It's just one piece, similar to a shoe like this, like a standard training shoe like this, right? Saucony Ride is just one piece of this Power Run Plus foam. So that gives it a simpler feel. underfoot. It also is a really nice foam. Puma has some of the best training foams. I think Puma and Brooks have the best training foams right now. And this is one of their last versions of race foam. Running Warehouse actually lists it as the most, I think they call it the most advanced training foam on the market. I don't know what that means. That sounds like marketing. I can tell you though, it's very bouncy. However, if we compare it to the Superblast, and I'm going to just weigh it in here first with the insole because this is how I actually use it. So this is the weight that it would be on my feet. It's 279 grams. If we take out the insole real quick and put this is the insole from the Saucony Ride. Let's put this other insole back from the Saucony Ride. That comes in at, hold on. Yeah, 263 or 264. So 15 grams heavier with the Saucony Ride insole. Regardless, let's call it 270 in the Superblast, 320 in the MagMax. You get a much lighter weight foam in this Asics shoe. The puzzling thing for me about this shoe, though, is how it can be so firm and lightweight at the same time, because typically, if a shoe is lighter weight, the foam is lighter, it's not as dense, and it's not as firm. But that's not what's happening here. And to me, this is a very firm shoe, and I've never quite been able to break it in. So Charlie also has a pair of these. I'm actually going to go grab it. Hold on. So look at this. Charlie has a pair of these Superblast 2 as well. She has them in the black. Hers, for some reason, feel so much softer. This foam. Okay, look at this. Look at me pushing in this foam right at the FF Turbo logo in the front and how it compresses. And then look at me pushing in my foam and how it compresses. It feels that the black one is compressing more. I do have a durometer, and especially back here. Watch me push in right under the heel. And then right under this heel. The thing is, and she doesn't find it to be as firm as I do, and she's always liked it, enjoyed the ride experience more than I do. This is actually what she wears all the time. And I weigh more than her. I land more on the heel than her. She actually lands more on the forefoot. So I don't know what it is, and you can also see throughout this midsole here, it seems that she's broken it in more. You can see these creases and everything, especially on the forefoot because she's putting that power down. Mine, this thing looks pristine. This thing basically looks like it's fresh out of the box. So this has always been my issue with this shoe. It seems that I don't put enough power down to activate the foam, even though it's a lighter weight compound. And I land very flat-footed. This is one of the things I'm realizing and learning, especially in that Adios Pro 3 or Pro 4 video I did yesterday. I land very flat-footed like this, and at some paces, seems I'm not putting down power in the shoe in the right way to activate it. Not that there's a right and a wrong way to run if you're progressing. I really believe that you can run with a lot of different forms as long as you're not getting injured and you're progressing in goal times and be fine. Just look at any marathon. For example, look at Connor Mans and Clayton Young. Go watch any of those videos and see them running together. Completely different forms, and both of them are they're the two top U.S. marathoners. So my form, very flat-footed, landing with the heel slightly first, roll through. That is the efficient distance running stride. Lydiard talks about that a lot, the efficient distance running stride. That's how I run. Now, I've had times running in this shoe where I will modify my stride, try to purposefully put more power down, and try to stomp on the shoe, and that activates it more. And the people who have said to me that they like this the most, and who I see on the Supwell app saying that they love the Superblast, are actually bigger runners who are running slower paces than I am. That is the number one category of people using this that I've seen absolutely love it. So people who are 200 pounds plus who are running slower than a 9-minute mile. And it's funny because in the first version of this shoe, this was the marathon. People would get on me for not liking it because they said I was running too slow. And in this version, it's a Relax Mile daily trainer. The last version, people were using it as a marathon pace shoe. So it seems that they've slowed it up in this version. And the crazy thing is, for me, that's how I use the MagMax. I prefer this as that everyday mile shoe with fun, comfort, support, and balance. And for my normal stride, this one takes the cake. For me, I prefer using this one. But hey, different shoes for different crews, right? So Superblast 2 takes it in weight, but I prefer the comfort of the MagMax. Now, let us set up the lab here because we are going to do the brand new stack check. All right, man, so we have the lab out here. This is the metrology lab, the measuring lab, and this is how we're going to get stack height of these shoes. So I have a measuring tool. We will zero it out on a standardized surface, which is this ball. We'll zero it out, and then we'll put the ball inside of the shoe, find the center point of the heel cup, and measure the height. So we'll do that across both of these shoes, see what the difference is. Of course, this is not a 100% accurate method, but it should be directionally accurate to give us a good sense of the differences between them. All right, so first we zero out our tool, and we're going to use the ball to do that because the ball distributes the weight more evenly. Now, I'm still tinkering with the system to find the perfect way to do it. But it's all fun here. It's all for, ooh, gosh. Now, one issue with the ball is that it just rolls. So we have to find, okay, there we go. That was the center. Now we'll zero it out. Now we want the ball, take a look here. We want the ball to be right in the center of the heel cup. So you can see it is right there. Boom. So we'll hold the ball right there. And then we'll drop in our measuring tool and get our measurement. I just need to make sure that this... Okay. There we go. So after 100 miles, the Puma MagMax Nitro is coming in at 37.5 or 37.6 if we round up. I actually want to take this without the ball. I feel like the ball is just rolling around. So let me zero this out on the ground and see if we get any sort of a different reading. Okay, that is zeroed out now. Find the center. Okay, going directly in, we get 38.9. I'm going to take another reading, zero it out again. Scientific method here, take a few measurements. All right, this time I got 39.9. I'm going to take one more reading because I want to make sure I'm doing it at the right spot. So I'm going to go right at the center of where this Puma is. Okay, 39.3. So we got a few different readings. Average is around 39, high 38. Now let's pop in our other guy, Superblast here. I'm gonna leave the stock or the Saucony Ride insole in because that's how I run in it. Let's go no balls. No balls, zero it out. And for this guy, center of the heel cup is going to be right where this 8 is. Right where this 8 millimeters is in the back. Wow. Okay. This is what I'm saying. Directionally, look at that, 44.7. So the Superblast is much higher off the ground. Let's take the insole out. I put the stock insole back in for a sec. All right, let's zero out this bad boy again. This time I'm going to go in right around this 12.4 kilogram logo. It's the carbon footprint logo. So look at that. Even with the stock insole, 42.3 or 42.4. So the stock and the insole was giving us 2 additional millimeters of stack. But regardless of insole, the Superblast is significantly, this is statistically significant. With all of our different measurements of the MagMax, it was still coming in at 37, 38, 39. Superblast is at 42 to 44. So on paper, these two have the same stack. But what we see here in the lab is that the Superblast, and I wish I had a fresh pair of both of these to see how they were at 0 miles, but the Superblast is putting us higher off the ground at 100 miles. So what I will do is we will go run. We'll go run at the gym in the Superblast 2. I was actually considering changing my plan and just running here, but it is still super gray and disgusting out there. Is it raining still? I'm considering changing my plan and just running here. Either way, we're going to go run in the Superblast. We'll come back and we'll take another set of measurements to see how it changes. But this is what people love and hate about the Superblast. Puts you high off the ground, and you can see it hasn't compressed a lot at all over 100 miles versus the MagMax. I wish I had a fresh pair, but I'm fairly certain that that foam has compacted down over 140 miles. So I love the lab here. It's time to lace these things up and take them for a run, though. One more muffin. There's always room for one more muffin. Quick stack check. I think the Superblast has more stack than this muffin. I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm going to the gym. Yeah, I'm not running in this. Bro, if you have the option to get on a treadmill when it is 30 degrees and raining, do it. I'm not a hero. Like my guy Sergio says, we are hobby joggers. We are not heroes. I really hope that they let me in at the gym. My key card hasn't been working for 2 months. My membership is up to date and everything. They're just having some weird thing. But yeah, plan for this morning, aerobic mileage. I am strictly focused on maintaining right now, building the volume. I used to have this saying, there's no such thing as maintenance, but sometimes maintenance is not maintenance. Sometimes maintenance is growth, and we need to maintain in one area of our life to grow in some others. And that's the whole thing about the hobby jogger lifestyle. Yes, I want to continue progressing my running, but I also have a business. This YouTube channel is part of a business. It's part of Supwell. We have the website, we have the app, we have the merch and everything, and the next thing I'm focusing on is creating training plans. So that's where my energy is going. And for me personally, and the reason I'm able to do a lot usually is because I have one or two things that are main goals. I don't like having big goals in all areas of my life. So no big running goals for the moment, focused on moving in other areas of life. and no hero activity. Man, it is raining. I'll see you guys over there. Oh no, there was literally someone right there. There was someone right there who just went in. Oh no. Oh, there's two people right here. Okay. Okay, let's see. No, it's not working. Hey, work, huh? Thank you. No, my key fob's not working. I think they said to leave a note. Yeah, there's a note up there for that. One of my grandkids got up crying this morning because he had to go to school.
Back to reality. Another one.
Kids would never get up crying because they had to go to school.
Oh. How many do you have total?
There's 6 altogether.
No way.
3 littles, so the rest of them are pretty much grown.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yes. Good for you, though.
I know. It's fun. Alright, man, getting my shoes off here. I was rocking the Ghost Max today because it's just rainy and gross, but the plan for this run is 8 miles at least, probably just 8 miles. Nice and relaxed on the treadmill. Hopefully by the time I'm done, someone will be here to help me with my keycard situation, because I was also here Saturday morning. Same exact thing happened where I couldn't get in, and then in that case I just had to go back home. But lacing up the Superblast 2 step and feel with the Saucony insole is actually comfortable. The insole makes a huge difference, and this is a good upper. It's a solid upper. I have no issues with the upper or the fit. I have no issues with rubbing or hot spots. Very few issues with this shoe in terms of feel and fit. Fits true to size as well. I think in the last generation, people had some sizing shenanigans when they went up or down, but this one fits my foot perfectly in the 10.5. And yeah, with the Saucony insole, the step-in feel is so much more comfortable. But all right, I'm gonna use the bathroom, and then we can pop on this treadmill, bang these miles out. Alright, man, just finished. Got 10 miles. Gonna have to recalibrate this distance. They're playing Biggie today. They're usually playing some sort of yacht rock or 70s rock situation. Not today. Alright, bang. 7:52 pace, 1 hour, 18 minutes, 45 seconds. Nice, solid aerobic mileage, keeping it relaxed, keeping the effort easy. It's the building block of training. We can stack these all day. I could run at a 7:50 pace for hours, quite literally. And man, I'm so glad I was able to do this in a perfectly ambient environment. No rain, no cold weather. But post treadmill thoughts on the Superblast 2. This is probably the best use case of this shoe because on the treadmill, I like a firmer platform. I don't like a super soft, squishy feel. And I could see as I was running, the platform of the treadmill, the plastic piece literally pushing down. Let me show you this, what I'm talking about. You can see over here. You can't see as I'm pushing here, but you can a little bit. Yeah, look at this. The platform has bounce on it, and it literally sinks into the ground. So if you're running on the asphalt, the surface like that outside, the ground is not going to be sinking in as you're running on it. So it has more give than outside, and a firmer shoe for me feels better on that. I've tried running on the treadmill on something like the New Balance 1080. It's just too soft on top of it. So this was solid. My whole feel with the shoe is that it's fine. I don't hate it like I did in the beginning. In the beginning, it felt way too awkward and clunky, and the heel was chunky. I still get some of that, but it's broken in, or I've adapted to it. Plus, the new insole has the additional step-in comfort, and it's fine. It's an overbuilt, over-engineered daily trainer. I've been thinking a lot about what this shoe is. It's the Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. TRD Pro is a body-on-frame SUV, which is not going to be as comfortable as a unibody SUV, which would be something like the Toyota Highlander. It has big, beefy shocks, big tires, and the TRD Pro trim is the even more overbuilt, over-engineered version that's designed to go off-roading. Now, 99% of the people that buy the TRD Pro are not going off-roading. Just like 99% of the people who are buying this shoe are not going to be fully maximizing the capability of this, what this foam offers. However, all that support is there. All that protection is there. And I've said from the beginning, this is a very protective shoe. And man, 10 plus once, I think 126 miles on it now. We can just start to see some creases. But for me, I'm not putting a lot of force into this shoe for some reason. And one of the other things I was thinking about on the treadmill, I also think it's about ground contact time, and people who are spending more time with the foot on the ground, that's more weight on the shoe to compress over a longer period versus a quicker toe off. I think the higher ground contact time plus the heavier weight and slower paces, that's the perfect blend of the shoe, although I know people like it across different pace ranges. So the feel of it is just okay. It is very stable. It gives me a lot of bounce now that it's broken in. So I don't hate it. It's a solid shoe. Still not my favorite in terms of the feel. And most of the time, so I've been running this shoe to get up to 100 miles. I'll run in this, and then I'll run something else the next day, like the Nova Blast or the MagMax or the Glycerin Max, and then I'll remember, oh, that's why I don't like the Superblast that much. There's just nothing special about it for me. But for some people who are just looking for a daily trainer, if they want something supportive, I understand why they would like it, because it gets the job done. And it looks cool, and it makes you feel like you have a cool high-performance shoe, which it is. So I get the hype. I'm just not a huge fan of the ride. So I'm going to put my OG Ghost Max back on here. We're still rocking with these guys. These are my beater shoes now. And then we can head home. By the way, on the Audios Pro 4 video, man, I'm starting to get some just pure nastiness. I've reached some certain threshold of success on YouTube where people treat me like I'm not a person anymore. It's like this dehumanizing thing. It's crazy. But I got this comment that I said the Audios Pro 4 was bad because I'm doing it for marketing. And the next video, I'm going to say it was good. So I guess I'm not allowed to change my opinion. And this is the thing. If I say a shoe is great, I get called a shoe salesman. If I say it's bad, I get called a contrarian. I don't understand it. But yeah, I hated this thing out of the box. I no longer hate it. So my opinion has changed. I don't think it's a terrible shoe, just not my favorite, and the ride is still not as smooth as some other shoes, and I'm not getting that love and enjoyment. This feels more like a tool. It's not a speedboat. It's not a speedboat. It's not a fun sport boat. It's, I don't know, boats. I don't know why I went with the boat metaphor. It's a Toyota TRD Pro. It's not a Porsche. It's not even a G-Wagen. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Hit the work and refuel. They're able to fix my key card, thankfully, or they're sending me the emails to fix it. But yeah, about the criticism, I really don't want to be harping on this, and it's one of my personal goals to not let this stuff affect me so much. The reason I'm talking about it now is because I like to be open and honest, and I think that's part of where it comes from. It's surprising to hear someone be open and honest, and I put my family on the camera, and it's funny because people say, oh, you're neglecting. I literally get comments that I'm neglecting my children because I'm running high mileage, or I'm a bad husband. And it's hard, right? Because the only reason people even know I have kids or a wife is because I showed them on the channel because I was with them. So I'm trying to do a better job, and also do a better job of acknowledging the support and the positivity, because there is a lot of it. But man, it's hard. It takes an emotional and mental toll to have it. And I've definitely hit a point, crossed the threshold where, and I'm not a celebrity, I'm far from it, but seeing a certain number of views or subscribers next to my name on the channel, it gives people permission to both positively and negatively put me into a different box. So yeah, I'm not oppressed, I'm not a victim, but this is just part of the business that I'm in. And it's not easy for me. Definitely not easy for me personally, and especially now that I'm venturing more into the training side, there's even more criticism that come with that, and people look to discredit me, say I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the training and the running, and I understand it's trolling and it's coming from a place of people's own insecurity sometimes, but that doesn't make it any less hard or any easier to deal with, especially, yeah, I don't need to get into that now, but having to fight for respect. But that's the business, man. But part of me wonders what, and I think it's just realizing too that nothing will ever be good enough, and you can't please everybody. There's a great quote I heard recently attributed to Vince Lombardi, who's one of the most successful early NFL coaches, and the championship trophy is named after him, the Lombardi Trophy. Said if you're listening to the fans too much, soon you'll be sitting with them. So if you're listening to the people in the bleachers too much, you're going to be sitting right next to them soon. So, something along those lines, right? So you can't please everyone. It is hard, though, feeling that I put so much, and again, I'm not saying this to be a victim. I'm purely sharing how I am feeling about this reaching a new level of success, notoriety. It is hard feeling like I ran a 2:39 marathon after running a 3:19 just 18 months before, or 2 years before. I sustained a volume of 5,000 miles per year and built up. I'm able to run a sub 5 mile. I do these training talks all the time, and I cite all of the sources and material where I get my books, the Lydiards, the Daniels, the Higdons, the Hansen. What more do I need to do to show that I have credibility? And that's the thing, where it feels like no matter what, I have a gosh dang MBA, right, from Duke University, and I don't want to be here talking about all the credentials I have, because I don't think that's important. I think the knowledge of the material and how we apply it and how we teach it is the most important. But some days it's discouraging when it feels like that's never enough. What the heck more do I need to do to be qualified? And these are the questions some of us have. And again, this is the line of business. I understand that when we're putting material out there in a public forum. That's the beauty of the internet and the beauty of free speech in general, is that anyone can share their opinion, but it doesn't make it any easier to deal with. And I know I could do a better job at dealing with it. But if you're watching this part, you are probably somebody who watches the channel a lot every day, so I appreciate you. I just wanted to explain how I'm feeling. It's difficult sometimes, but it's also a privilege to have this platform, and I understand that, right? There's two sides of it, and I can't, if you spend time doing a caveat on everything, every video will be 3 hours long. It's like the heart rate training, right? If I say I don't train by heart rate, I get called a fool. And someone just yesterday said I didn't understand exercise physiology. It's just things like this that I'm learning how to work through it. But I appreciate you guys who watch every day. And man, I got an email this morning from someone who thanked me for being open and honest about the struggles I was having, or just the rough patch I'm going through with my running right now, just because I haven't been focusing on it. It was the holidays. I still have the volume, but yesterday's long one was just more difficult. And she was just thanking me for being open about it, because she was going through something hard too. So I know the majority of people, and this is what Charlie reminds me of as well, the majority of people watching the channel are not commenting. They're not commenting positively, and they're not commenting negatively. They're just watching. It's the silent majority. So thank you to everyone out there who's watching, whether you're commenting or not. I appreciate you. I'm on a quest to be better myself, better at dealing with the new realities of the level of engagement we're getting, and also giving you the best running insights. So I appreciate you guys. And if you're triggered for me holding the camera and driving, go ahead and unsubscribe. Work, lunch, refuel. I don't know why this is in such a weird position, but getting some quick carbs in. I'll throw some spinach on these. Yeah, honestly, I'm going to keep it pretty light, because I'm going to have a quick turnaround on this double. Get probably just 30 minutes in the MagMax on my lunch break. This is why I eat at my desk. I don't take a real lunch break. Sometimes I get my miles in as my lunch break, but this is going to be it. I'll have an extra piece of toast for some carbs, and then I have the watermelon. Oh no, I switched to raspberry salt on the Element. So quick calories here. Get out there, and then I have my coffee going over there. I do have a new shipment of black and white coming in, but it's not here yet. Probably throw some butter on the bread too. Little butter, extra fat. All right, see ya. All right, run number 2. We still have the entire lab set up, but we're going to do second run of the day in the MagMax, outside, in the rainy cold. I think it might be rainy cold still. I'm not sure. Cold, yes, definitely cold. Rain, looks like it's misting. Now, step in feel of the MagMax. Both of these shoes have solid uppers, the MagMax and the Superblast. I have to say, the upper of the MagMax seems that it's designed more for comfort. I'm not necessarily going to knock the upper of the Superblast for being uncomfortable, but it doesn't seem like that's what it was designed to do. It's lighter weight. The material is lighter weight. There's a stretchier, softer tongue here in the MagMax. This is a great training upper. It's nothing that you're going to be singing the praises about, but it has just enough comfort. I thought that was Charles already, because it was the same car, and she just left. By the way, she came into my office asking me where her Superblast was. But yeah, step and feel this. It's not super soft and squishy either. It's just when you get out there on the run, that's where we start getting a softer feel. But yeah, very stable heel here. Now, as I mentioned, this is not a shoe that's specifically designed to prevent overpronation, but with how they've wrapped the foam, and especially in the midfoot, look at this. They've wrapped this foam up here in the midfoot a ton, and on the outside. And if you remember, this only measured in at 39 millimeters in stack. This thing, we should measure this. If I have time, I will. But I guarantee you this is over 45. It's maybe even up at 50 plus millimeters. It's probably up at 50 plus. So you're getting significant wrapping on the sidewalls to hold the foot in place and keep it very grounded and minimize any wobbling. All right, I've got to go. I'm just going to do quick 4 miles here and then come back and give these post-run thoughts on which one of these shoes you should buy. Man, the Superblast brought the chickens out. The chickens are back. Let's see what we got here. Whew. Wow, I'm super hydrated. I need to use the bathroom. But we got 4.23 miles, 7:08 pace, 30 minutes. More relaxed aerobic mileage in the books. Bang. Boom. Man, 14 miles today. Another super gray and rainy day out here in the Carolinas. It's going to be like this till March. Like my guy, Old Fashioned Runner, said, the only thing we can do at this point of the year is just count down the days till March. Unless you live in somewhere like Florida or Texas, you might be appreciating this time of year. But for me, no. I guess it's a good chance to test some Gore-Tex shoes and test out the grip. But it's going to be raining 60% of the days until we get to the spring. But 14 miles, we still got some good mileage in today. We get 10 this morning in the Superblast 2. Let's throw it up. And by the way, I've been talking about heart rate training a lot recently, and I think the only thing more controversial than the Superblast is the topic of heart rate training. If I say I don't train by heart rate, people get triggered. If I talk about looking at my heart rate, people say you can't look at the wrist-based heart rate, which I agree. That's one of the reasons why I don't train by heart rate. And because I don't train by heart rate, I don't have the need to get one of those armbands or chest straps. I actually did use a chest strap for a while, but the whole problem with the wrist-based heart rate, and I got into this in the comment section with someone, is not that it's completely wrong 100% of the time, is that it's sometimes accurate, sometimes not, and it's hard to get it accurate. It's hard. You have to set it up you have to cinch it down tight. It has to be good conditions. It's worse in the cold, etc. But going on the treadmill and cranking it down like I did this morning, I said I'm going to crank the sucker down, see if I can get a good heart rate reading, and I did. I got a solid heart rate reading out of it. Again, I don't put much stock into it, and I might stop talking about heart rate entirely because it is so triggering for so many people. But what I do is rely on my knowledge of the training zone. So relax zone corresponding to zone 2, marathon's pace corresponding to a higher heart rate, training at certain paces to get certain adaptations that roughly correspond to heart rate. And for most of us, using a simple method like that is all we need. But anyway, we got 10 miles this morning in Superblast 2, nice and relaxed, 7:52 pace, and most of my mileage in this, it's now at 126 miles, has been right in that zone. And for me, I can get it, but it doesn't feel great cranking it up much faster than a 7:10 pace. So recovery on the treadmill actually felt fine in this. I think it felt better in the 2 than it did in the 1. I think the MagMax, though, is actually better for faster paces. So the second run of the day here, let's throw this one up. And this guy is now at 144 miles, was a roughly 7 flat aerobic run. And I was hitting, and again, if you look at the heart rate on this one, and this is the other thing. And the reason I do talk about heart rate sometimes is because people will ask me, why is your heart rate at the 170s on a 20-mile long run? And I'll be going at 7:30 pace. It's not. If my heart rate were at the 170s for 20 miles, that would be a really solid workout, and I would probably not be recovering and able to do it the next day. So that's the issue. you can't rely on it 100% of the time. But I think for this afternoon run, for example, it was in the 170s. Now, one thing I might do is actually just completely shut off my heart rate on Strava so no one even comments about it. That's something I could do, right? I don't know. Either way, this felt much better this afternoon. And like I was saying in the gym, whenever I run the Superblast, it feels fine. It feels like a solid shoe. I don't hate it anymore, but then I run in something else and it puts a smile on my face. The MagMax is a shoe that puts a smile on my face. It's fun. It's bouncy. Yes, it does feel like a big moon boot, and that was my first impression of this shoe. I thought it felt like a massive moon boot, like it was too much stack, but as I've gotten more miles in it, I've loved it. I do think the foam has compressed down a few millimeters. I really wish we could take a measurement of a fresh pair in my size. Either way, it is lower. It came in at, 39 millimeters versus the Superblast came in at 44 millimeters this morning, or 42, depending on which measure you use. So it's wider, but slightly lower now than the Superblast, at least. Ooh. And Heart Rate Mafia coming for the camera. By the way, I think this is now my dirtiest running shoe in the house. It's also my highest mileage running shoe, so it makes sense. Look at that, we got dirt here. I had to step off the ground so I didn't get attacked by a car, hit by a car. I stepped off the street and I stepped right into a mud pile, so I'll make sure we clean this up. But yeah, MagMax has a lot of fun to it. It did measure a few millimeters lower than the Superblast, and it is heavier, but to me, this is the one that I want to run it. It feels so fun that it feels wrong to run in it every day. I think that's why people like the Superblast too, because the people who really love it as a daily trainer, Charlie, for example, she actually came into my office asking where her Superblast 2 was because she was going to go out and run in it. She has the SC Trainer V3 as well, which is a shoe that's in the same similar vibe category as this, except that has a plate. And she says that shoe feels more special to her. With the Superblast, it feels okay to run it every day. Like, I guess this is sun chips of running shoes. Like I said, you're still eating chips. It still has a gigantic stack. It has even a taller stack than the MagMax, which is wild, right? But the thing is, the MagMax feels so much more fun. So let's do the comparison of these across all the categories. Let's start with the upper. Now, upper of the Superblast 2, lighter weight, but both of these are fit true to size, and I have no issues with either of them. So lighter weight, more breathable in the Superblast 2, but comfort will have to go to the MagMax, especially if you compare on the tongues here. This is a stretchier tongue. It has slightly more padding. Superblast 2, very lightweight tongue. I didn't get any lace bite, anything like that though, so no issues on comfort on either of them, but MagMax just feels that it fits my foot better. Now, around the back, similar amount of padding, similar amount of structure in the heel. However, thinking about the stability of them going down to the ride, because of this wider base, and I should fire up those calipers if I have time inside, the MagMax takes it for stability. Superblast is really good as well. Now, key differences on the ride of these two, even though the stack heights are so similar, Superblast now at 100 miles is taller, and it does feel less natural to run in. Even though this thing looks weirder and chunkier and crazier, the Superblast, to me, for my stride, feels a lot less natural to run in. It still feels super firm. Now, we were on the treadmill this morning, so it was soft, and this would be a good treadmill shoe if you want to take something completely, or something that takes the burden completely off your legs. But I did 8 miles in it Saturday morning, and I can verify it still does feel firm. And again, 126 miles, not much braking on this at all. There's maybe one creasing line here. If you look at the inside, no creasing lines on the midsole here. Now, if we take a look at the MagMax, this has broken in better for me. We do have 20 more miles on it, or 18 more miles on it. More creasing lines here on both the inside and the outside. And overall, the foam it feels better to me. So midsole foam experience, if you want something more fun, for me, that would be the MagMax. Now, because the Superblast is lighter weight, it's gonna take it for a lot of people for those long runs. But for me, the weight of the MagMax didn't bother me. I've done 2 long runs in it now. I did a 16-mile long run the weekend after the Chicago Marathon, and I did a 23-mile long run I don't know when, at some random point. I did 23-mile long run that took about 3 hours. A nice, relaxed aerobic zone 2. I can wink, I promise. A nice, relaxed zone 2 effort in the good old MagMax Nitro, and it was beautiful. I compared it to the Nova Blast 4, one of those shoes that you just cruise, you forget about, gives you good balance, and especially shines after you get up past an hour. On the other hand, I did a long run in the Superblast, and anytime I've gone past 10 or 12 miles, it doesn't feel that great to me. It just doesn't. So this slots in, and it's gonna slot in probably for most people as a daily trainer. It doesn't have the excitement for me. It's a solid shoe. I no longer hate it. I don't like it all that much, but good qualities. I do have to say, in terms of the wear and the durability, this thing is an absolute tank. Now, Puma is known for durability as well, but you can see on the foam it's broken in. It's probably compressed down some. We have rubbed the entirety of the Puma logo off from wear, but I mean, both of these shoes up past 100 miles are doing awesome. We're gonna need to even get a 200-mile, 300-mile review to see how they do. The thing with the Superblast, though, is there's basically no wear on this rubber. It's crazy. Look at that. I mean, there's a tiny bit of wear on the back here, but it's in really good shape. So, two very durable shoes. It's gonna come down to your ride preference. If you want something firmer, more normal feeling in terms of the foam, not in terms of the actual fun of the shoe. If you want something that feels more like a standard daily trainer, that would be the Superblast 2. If you want something with a less clunky ride though, so this is more normal in the sense that I don't have to think about it as much, it's just bouncing me along and it gives the fun, that would be the MagMax. So this is my personal winner. A lot of people like the Superblast 2. For me, it's just okay. It doesn't have that special quality that a lot of my favorite shoes do. A lot of people love it for the lightweight, but guess what? There's tons of other lightweight shoes out there now. The Evo SL for speed is lighter than the Superblast 2. There's one other I was thinking about. Oh, Nova Blast is just about as light as it's lighter than with the Saucony insole in here. It's 270 something, and the Superblast is around 280 with the Saucony insole. So Superblast would be a few grams lighter still if they're both stock, but very similar. Superblast does have better protection, but man, for me, up past 100 miles on both of these, the MagMax just does a better job at what the Superblast is trying to do, which is those fun daily miles. I'm not gonna pick either of these for speed workouts where I'm getting down to 6 something pace. I have done tempo runs or progressions down to my marathon pace in the MagMax and really enjoyed it. Superblast, every time I try to crank it down, just doesn't work that well for me. It really has a narrow band where it feels okay, and anything too fast, anything past 7 flat, 650 just doesn't feel all that great to me, and doesn't have the balance and the encouragement to go faster. Meanwhile, the MagMax does. So MagMax is my personal winner. Both are holding up well. I'm actually noticing on the front of the rubber here, Superblast does have some wear, but both of these shoes should last to 300, 400 miles. So $180, $20 cheaper MagMax versus $200 in the Superblast 2. I'll take the MagMax 9 out of 10 times. First, treadmill, I might take the Superblast 2. Grip, of course, out here on the wet weather, Puma grip is awesome. If you don't know, now you know. What else is there that I haven't mentioned? Yeah, comfort goes to the MagMax. Recovery runs go to the MagMax. I like the MagMax, but up at 100 miles, Superblast has broken in, but it's still nothing special to me. So there you go. That's also your 100-mile update on the Superblast. Everyone's asking me why I was running in it. I was running in it so that I could give you some insights at 100 miles. It's very fine. It's very fine, and it will last forever, and it will give you a lot of good miles. That's the benefit out of it. The performance is good, but the feel is just fine. And here's the thing, if I only do one run in it, then people will say I'm not doing my due diligence. And if I do 100 miles in it, they say, oh, well, you said you didn't like it, and now you're running in it, so you must like it. You can't win. You can't win. As Lombardi said, if you listen to the crowd too much, soon you'll be sitting with them. So that's all I have for you guys today. I appreciate everyone who's been watching the channel, everyone who's engage with the hobby jogger community, make sure to get on the Supwell app. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Oh, one other thing with the Superblast, I did a lot of stroller runs with it last week over break with Reevesy, and it was solid for that too, because I like a firmer, just a firmer shoe that doesn't feel super squishy or crazy or bouncy. So that's another thing. If you're doing a lot of stroller running and want a firmer shoe, maybe you're doing a lot of miles for marathon training with the stroller, Superblast 2 will probably be solid for that as well. All right. Last thing here, we are going to get a width measurement. Again, there is no perfect way to do these things, but I'm going to take it from the widest point. And here's the issue too with trying to standardize these things. The foam is contoured differently across all these shoes, but this should give us a directional sense. So I'll take it at, you see where I'm taking it right here. I'll take it at the similar point on the Superblast. So that is the width of the MagMax. We have our caliper tool here. Other measuring, let's zero it out. Get the millimeter reading here. 100, just about 100. 90, is that 96? Yeah, that didn't move. 96. And that, looks like we got it right there. Okay, now let's go on to the Superblast. And again, that's what I'm saying directionally. Even if it's not accurate down to the millimeter, look at trying to put this 96 millimeter width on the Superblast. I can basically stick my entire finger. So we're going to have to crank this down way more. I'm trying to get the same point, roughly the same point. Again, this is not 100% accurate. I have to say this every time I do it. These things are not 100% accurate, but it gives us a directional sense. So this is now the Superblast measurement of width. This brings it down to 89. So roughly 96 to 100 on the MagMax and around 89, 90 on the Superblast 2. So that's where the additional stability is going to come from and support in the rear that I talk about. And it wraps the foam up a ton. Also, if we just measure this outside stack, you can see right here, oh my goodness. That, like I said it's going to be 50 plus. That is 60 millimeters of stack height on the outside of the shoe versus your foot, if you remember what we did in the beginning, was sitting down in 30 something. So there's, 39. So there's 21 millimeters of additional stack just cradling your foot. And that's where the support for overpronation and just keeping the foot centered come from. Now let's check the Superblast. Pretty similar. If you look at the widest point back here, let's see. You have even more. If you look at the widest or the tallest point of foam in the back of the Superblast, that's coming in at 63. But if you look at where your heel is, right here where it sits, 52. So it goes up from 52 down here to 63. So both of these provide a lot of cradling. Your foot is not just sitting on top of the foam. You have foam wrapping up the sides. And that is going to increase the weight of the shoe. It would be a lighter weight shoe if they just stopped the foam right underneath it. And we do have some shoes like that. Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. I believe the Adidas Evo SL does that too, versus some of the more supportive shoes will wrap it. And these are two of the more supportive shoes on the market. So if you need stability, either of them is going to be fine. But if you want something that's softer, bouncier, more fun, MagMax. If you want something that's serious for crushing miles, more mechanical, Superblast 2. A lot of people like the Superblast 2 as a slower, relaxed pace daily trainer, but MagMax is my personal pick. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate everyone who's watching. Stay happy and warm this winter. Drink a gosh dang vanilla latte or something. Life should be fun. What do you think? That's what I think. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.